Hey everyone, Ronan here, and welcome back to the channel. We got a lot to cover today, but before, as always, we got to shout out the patron. So Jacob Van Eldren, thank you very much for the support over on Patreon. And as always, analytics are very important, so please drop a like and a comment to help fuel the algorithm for the video. And if this is your first time here, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications, so that way you'll never miss another upload from the channel. And if you want to consider supporting us even further, please become a patron or a channel member. You get exclusive access to stuff that I don't post on the main channel, and early access to everything I do. But with all that being said, let's get into What If Ash Won the Hoenn League, the finale part 3. I hope you enjoy. We begin today's part at the exact moment we left off in the previous one. The moment is tense from Misty's comment to May. Unsure of what's going to happen, Max introduces Misty to May, saying she came all this way here from Kanto to see Ash take on the Elite Four. With a shrug, May says that's nice. They should go. Ash should be close to the end of this first battle, and he will want to see some of his friends. Brock then chimes in stating that May should take a break and come with him. Her Pokemon look worn out, so they can go and see Ash. She can get to know Misty as well. Then, without missing a beat, Misty states that they can talk about how frustrating Ash can be. She's got some stories that'll make May laugh and cry at the same time. However, this is when the Pokénav goes off. Guys, it looks like the match is over, Max says. This captures everyone's attention. Well, who won, Brock questions. Ash. He was able to pull it off with Pikachu taking down Absol. Well, it looks like he's going to go on to the second battle, Misty says. They then turn to May. Looks like you were too late. You should head back now. But Misty speaks up, stating that they should head back together. However, not even acknowledging the statement causes everyone to repeat it again and again, until May snaps back and says that she's not going. There is more work to do, so leave me alone. This silences everyone as the girl returns to her training with her Pokemon that are now struggling to even move, let alone train. But May, Max cries. But nothing, she yells. Leave me alone. This causes the boy to hang his head as Brock says nothing to poke the Ursaring any longer. Let's head back and wait for May to cool down. They then turn, with Misty taking one last look before doing so, thinking that this is a lot worse than Brock had originally said it was, before rushing off to join the other two. As the trio descend the plateau, Misty comments that she can see why Brock called her. The breeder says that she has steadily gotten worse over the last week since Ash won the tournament. While it's concerning, Misty smiles, stating that she thinks that there's still time to address the situation. She then turns to Max, who is choking back tears from May snapping at him. Listen, your sister is going through something right now. The only thing we can do is be here when she really needs you. But how will I know when that is? The boy questions. Don't worry. It may seem like it'll take forever, but I can assure you that it'll happen sooner than later. Max doesn't know what it is, but he finds comfort in the words of Misty. So with nothing else to do but to put his trust in Brock and Misty, Max nods with a smile. Brock then suggests that they head to the Pokemon Center. Ash will be there, and he will be wanting an explanation on why we weren't there, and what Misty is doing here. They all agree that this is the best course of action, so they decide to get moving. They want to get back before the sun begins to touch the horizon and it gets dark. As the three head back, May watches them descend the hilltop, irritated that Misty is here and upset that this will just be one more thing to get in her way. As the conflict between our heroes grows, we move over to the Champions box just after the match with Ash. It was here that we see Sydney joining the others after a battle well fought. The mood in the room is a mixed one. The first to address the trainer is Drake and Phoebe.
That was a battle well fought. You gave everything you had against the boy, so there's nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah! The way you two kept the crowd and us on the edge of our seats has me itching to battle Ash!
Sydney is happy that his fellow elites are showing positivity in the wake of his loss. He is a bit bummed about it himself.
Thanks, guys. Well, I'm glad I got to battle the kid. It's not the result I wanted.
However, Good Show questions why. The boy proved that he could battle on an elite level. This gives you something to aim for. Drake is right. There's no telling how far Ash will go. This is an unprecedented time for change. It's got me excited for the next battle, right, Phoebe?
You got that right! Ever since I battled Team Aqua with him on Mount Pyre, I just knew he'd be great to battle! He showed concern for everyone, even the Pokemon that was abandoned by Phantom. That kid is genuinely a good person. That's so rare these days.
I know what you mean, Phoebes. I'm not mad about the kid winning, just that I lost. Ash learned his place here, no doubt, and I think that's something we can all celebrate.
However, as Sydney is getting positive reinforcement for his loss, there is going to be one rain cloud in the form of Steven. You know they're all lying to you, right? This causes everyone to shift their attention to the leader of the league. You speak of not wanting to be the weakest in title, but I didn't see anything demonstrated today that would say otherwise.
I don't know what battle you were watching, Rock Boy, but I didn't hold back. I gave it me all, and Ash won fair and square.
That's my point. I don't know if you noticed it, but Ash was distracted in the battle with you. The battles that he had in the top 4 and the finals were more intense than the one with you, yet you still lost. So my question is, why are you lying to not only us, but yourself? This causes Sydney to grow quiet in a moment of reflection, but Phoebe isn't going to remain quiet herself.
Hey, that's out of line. Sydney did his best. Ash was just the better trainer today. You have no right to talk to him like that.
Wait, Phoebes. Steven's right. I did view the battle as a distraction instead of a chance to get better as a trainer. I gotta admit, I've been doing anything to avoid this tension that's formed between all of us since the league started. That's why I took the security detail.
It's here that Steven turns for the door. You can't run away from reality, Sydney. Goodshow is right. We are on the dawn of a new league here in the Hoenn region. The difference is our approach. He is excited about the unknown, while I embrace the known. Information is powerful. Like today's battle, you failed to level up. So the question I ask is, do you belong in the league? Steven then leaves the room, leaving the 4 elites standing there as Goodshow gives chase. They all say nothing as the door closes, but Goodshow is quick to call out Steven on his approach. Doesn't he think he is being a little extreme in the way he is handling things? Not at all. If we had a more unified Elite 4, then we could have responded to the threat of Team Aqua and Magma more efficiently. Now we are in a time of change, so I intend to make sure that we have the correct people in place so that it will never happen again. Goodshow is uneasy about this, but Steven reminds the old man that this is something he had asked for. The champion then walks away. As Goodshow tries to see things from Steven's perspective, we swap over to the Pokemon Center. Ash is currently waiting to be called on for his Pokemon to be picked up from Nurse Joy. During this time, Ash, Morrison, and Tyson are all sitting in the dining area talking about the battle that happened today. Morrison is super happy with his friend, even going as far as to toot his own horn in having a hand in preparation for Ash's battle. Our hero thanks Morrison, as he couldn't have done it without him. However, Tyson has another perspective, stating that he noticed that Ash was distracted during the battle. This causes the boy to hang his head. Yeah, none of my friends were there to watch the battle. I know that there are other things going on with May, but I figured at least Max and Brock could have been there. Oh man, that sucks. I was so caught up in the battle, I didn't even really notice, Morrison responds. Ash goes on to explain that it wasn't even the worst of it. During the battle, I thought I saw an old friend that I haven't seen in over a year, but I know it was just my mind playing tricks on me. However, Ash is going to get an unexpected surprise when Pikachu cries its name as it runs to Ash. Wondering why Pikachu is here, Ash looks up to see Max and Brock with his Pokeballs. Looking for these, the breeder says, handing them over to Ash. Yeah, he responds. The boy then asks where they were today. He didn't see them during the battle. Max looks a little nervous, stating that something came up, so they were unable to make it. This gets Ash angry, as he demands to know what was so important that they missed his first ever Elite 4 battle. Though this outburst is going to be halted when a very familiar voice says that Ash still hasn't changed. Looking around, Ash knows who that is, only to see Misty there in the doorway of the dining area. Misty, what are you doing here? The boy blurts out. The redhead states that she had heard that Ash had won a regional tournament, so she knew she couldn't miss that. But what about the Cerulean Gym? The boy questions. Oh, that was simple. I convinced one of my sisters to watch it so I could go on vacation, though I didn't exactly say when I would be back. So I'm going to be here to see you all the way to the end. This immediately perks Ash up. Thanks, Misty. I'm glad that you came all the way here to show me support. Have I ever missed one of your league runs? The girl questions. No, but we all had to go our separate ways, so I figured you had other responsibilities. However, Misty says no matter what is going on, she will always be here for a friend when they need it. But just as she says that, May walks into the dining area, finally done with her training of the day. Oh, hey May, Ash says. I won my battle today. The girl simply says that's nice, but then turns to Max to check up on the boy. She's only looking to make sure he isn't hurt and has been eating. Once she is satisfied with Max's health, May then turns, ignoring everyone, to go grab a table on the other side of the room so that way she can eat alone. Well, she's a ball of sunshine. Ash states that May is going through some stuff right now, but he's not sure what. He wants to talk to her, but he has those battles to focus on, so he's not sure on how to talk to her. Misty simply says that Ash should worry about the battles. Let me handle May. The redhead is confident that she will be able to figure out what's wrong. Cracking a smile, Ash thanks Misty. He then turns to everyone, stating that they should start to eat. It's been a long day. This is all the incentive Morrison needs to dig in, but Tyson wants to talk with Ash a little bit more. He states that Ash only has 2 days until his next battle, so the boy should plan his team, as he will be battling a ghost specialist, Phoebe. This causes the boy to stop eating. Yeah, I thought about that. Truth be told, the last battle I had with a ghost specialist was in the Johto region, so I will have my work cut out. Misty suggests that Ash calls on his other Pokemon, but the boy explains the promise they had made for this league and how he won't be doing that. The only thing that Misty can do is shake her head, wondering why Ash always has to make things harder on himself. This causes the boy to laugh before asking Misty if she will help him train a little bit. He's got a whole bunch of new Pokemon, so she has no idea how strong he has gotten. Oh, you're not the only one that has gotten stronger in the last year, so why don't we have a battle to see who's better? Smiling, Ash tells Misty that they will do that first thing in the morning before turning back to his food and digging in as his stomach demands to be filled. As the group continues to bond, Max looks over at May, who is doing her best to ignore them as she rushes to eat her food. She then stands up from the table and rushes away from the groups and the area as she has a long day planned tomorrow and she needs to get her rest. As the girl disappears out of view, Max can only hope that May will be okay before returning to his food, trying to hide the fact that he is slowly falling apart inside. As the night of celebration continues on and quickly fades into the next 2 days, Ash has his battle with Misty and proves that he is in fact the stronger trainer of the two. Though the battle was close as Misty has captured and trained a lot of Pokemon since the last time that they saw each other. The training with Ash and his friends continues over the 2-day period. Before they know it, they are on the night before Ash's next battle. The boy is on a call with Oak, forming his team for the next day. After saying goodbye, Ash hangs up the phone. You really weren't kidding about only using the Pokemon you caught in Hoenn, Misty says. Yeah, it's a promise that I need to keep, so that way I can prove that I'm the trainer that I know I can be. The battles we had here in Hoenn were unlike anything I've ever had. The challenges really helped me advance as a trainer. The only thing left to do is to see the battles to the end with the Pokemon that helped me all along the way. Misty smiles. I think you've done well, Ash. You're definitely not the same trainer that lost in Johto or the Kanto League, so I'm looking forward to seeing your battles tomorrow. That's if you show up, the boy jokingly says. Don't worry, I won't miss it for anything, Misty says as the night fades on. The next morning, to a packed stadium, Ash sits in the locker room awaiting to be called. He can hear the chants of the crowd while rubbing Pikachu behind its ears. Well, buddy, it's almost time. Our second battle of the Hoenn Elite Four. Can you believe that we're here? The mouse lets out a Pika, signaling that it's ready for the journey ahead. All the while, in the audience, Brock, Misty, Max, Tyson, and Morrison all sit awaiting the start of the battle. However, like usual, May isn't present, as she was forced to stay behind at the Pokemon Center. The reason for this is the one that the girl has been trying to ignore as much as possible. Her Pokemon are worn out, and they can no longer move. It's gotten so bad that Joy threatened to call Officer Jenny if May did not at least let them rest for a day. So now, the girl is stranded, forced to watch Ash battle on the TV in the dining area. While May is dealing with her issues, we move over to the locker room on the other side of the stadium. Here we see Phoebe, awaiting to be called. But she is not alone, as Sydney has decided to join her.
Oi, Phoebes. I just want to say good luck, and try to enjoy yourself out there. I don't know why Steven's been showing that silver spoon he was born with up his ass so much lately, but don't let it affect you. Rock Boy may be right about me, but if there's one thing he was totally wrong about, it's you.
Phoebe is always a bundle of positive energy, and she has not let Steven get her down, as is displayed by a smile and excitement on her face.
You know what Steven said isn't true. You shouldn't let him get to you. He has no right to dictate the way you battle, nor any of us. He demands perfection because that's what he expects from himself. But if he's not careful, he'll end up being the one that's left behind.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Well, don't worry, I'll be rooting for you. So show the kid and Steven what you're made of.
The two smile at each other as an announcement rings out, calling both combatants to the arena. Standing up, Phoebe gives one last look at Sydney before exiting the room.
That boy is a firecracker, so good luck out there. You're gonna need it.
This is where we move out to the main battlefield. Here we find Mr. Goodshow as he is announcing the start of today's battle. First is the boy all the way from Pallet Town, Ash Ketchum. Then the master of ghost types, Phoebe of the Hoenn Elite Four. The two enter the stadium to a roaring crowd. After seeing the last battle, everyone is more ramped up for this one. Goodshow goes on to state that Phoebe is the winner of last year's Victory Road tournament. So in a way, this is a champion versus champions match. This cracks a smile on the Elite's face, as this was not a fact that Ash was aware of. You're last year's champion, the boy asks?
Yep, I got all the way to Old Drift before I lost, so I can say I know what I'm doing.
This causes a bit of comfort for Ash. He was feeling a bit nervous about the battle with Phoebe, but now that he knows that she was unable to beat Drake, that means they should have relatively the same ability. However, that is a small detail compared to the ones that are about to unfold. It's here that Goodshow states that this will be like the last one, a 5-on-5 battle. Both sides will be allowed substitutions, but like with Sydney, Phoebe will be allowed to choose the battlefield that she feels best suits her.
I think it's time we go with the grass battlefield. That way there's no surprises when it comes to terrain.
Well then, you heard her folks, it's time to start the festivities. Now will both of you take your positions. Turning, Ash walks away, thinking about the statement that Phoebe made. No surprises? This means that he's gonna have to be extra alert. Those type Pokemon are tricky, and if he lets them take control, then there may be no way to get it back. All the while, Phoebe is happily awaiting for the start to be declared, as she is ready to get this battle underway. Luckily, they won't have to wait too long. Good Show then turns things over to the referee, who gives the command to start the battle. Ash wastes no time in his decision, telling Pikachu that it will be his first choice.
Ooh, this is interesting. I'm gonna have to change up my normal lead. Whatever. Things will be fun either way. Bennett, smile now for battle.
Popping from its ball, an eerie feeling washes over the arena as the first of many ghosts emerges to the field. With a gulp, Ash knows that the smile on this thing hides a lot of secrets. However, if he wants to move forward, then he has no choice. Pikachu, use Iron Tail! The mouse bolts down the battlefield in order to connect, but the elite seems calm as she gives her first command.
Bennett, use Will-O-Wisp.
Suddenly, as Pikachu connects with the ghost, the mouse is enveloped in purple flames that immediately cause it to yell in pain. Pikachu, are you okay? Ash yells as the mouse breaks away, so that way it can put some much needed distance from Bennett as it just floats there with a smile on its face. The mouse is singed and now has a burn, but other than that, it will be fine.
It seems you fell for the most basic of my plays, Ash. I should warn you now, ghost-type Pokemon are not very physically strong. But what they lack in power, they more than make up for in ability and mischievousness. You're going to have to get rather creative if you want to win this battle, let alone the match.
Wow, she is a whole different person than the last time when we battled Phantom and his goons. I'm gonna have to be on my toes if I have any hopes of making any progress. Pikachu, are you still okay to keep going? The mouse gives a thumbs up. With a smile, Ash says he won't back down, so Phoebe better get ready. Now Pikachu, use a Thunderbolt! The mouse lets loose the electric attack, but this is quickly countered with a Mud Slap from Bennett, preventing any damage. Now Ash is on the back foot as Phoebe realizes that the boy is a bit shaken, so she decides that it's time to apply a little bit more pressure with a Shadow Ball. Quick, use Iron Tail, Ash yells. Doing so, the mouse smacks away the ball of ghostly energy as it tries to connect with Bennett once more, but this is of little use as the damage that is inflicted barely even registers as far as pain for the ghost. This catches Ash off guard. Why did Iron Tail not have any power behind it?
That would be my fault. Burn will make it so the attacks of your Pokemon are at half at best. So Pikachu is going to have to work a lot harder if he wants to win this battle.
It's here that the full totality of Phoebe's battle strategy comes into view. She aims to weaken Ash's Pokemon and put them on a clock. If they can't win in a set amount of time, then her ghost Pokemon will just outlast their opponents. With a gulp, Ash now has a decision to make. Pikachu is losing health fast. The boy either needs to pull it or win this battle in the next few moves. However, Pikachu is going to make the choice for the boy as it sparks, showing that it is nowhere ready to call it quits. Well, I guess that's my answer. Now, how do I get Bennett open for an attack? Realizing that Phoebe has a defense for electric moves, Ash decides to try something that shouldn't work in a quick attack. The elite finds this odd, so odd that she doesn't even call for a defense for Pikachu, as it just passes through Bayonet with each attempt at crashing into it.
That won't work, I'm afraid. Normal type attacks don't work on ghost types. I thought that a trainer like you would know the basics of type matchups.
However, this is where we hear Sydney in the champion box screaming.
No! Phoebes! He's gonna do the same thing to you he did to me!
All the while, Misty and Brock are in the stands telling the others to watch. Ash is about to win. This is when we see what the boy is up to, as the fur on his starter becomes electrified. Smiling, Ash tells the mouse to use Quick Attack once more. But now Phoebe has caught on, and she isn't going to let Pikachu connect with her ghost.
Now, use Shadow Ball!
Firing the ball once again, Bennett tries to defend itself, but Pikachu is on the charge with an electro volley that Ash ordered to block the attack as it passes through the ghost one more time. Just then, as it leaves with its tail still inside Bennett, Ash calls for a thunder with everything that the mouse has. Electricity courses through the ghost as it twitches from being lit up. As the light fades, Bennett lay in a smoldering heap on the grass, though this did not come without cost. The burn ran its course and Pikachu lay beside it, both Pokemon having spirals in its eyes. This battle is declared a draw as the crowd remains silent, unsure on what they they just watched. Phoebe recalls the ghost as Ash walks out to collect Pikachu. Hey buddy, you okay? The mouse is a bit drained, but it's fine. Ash walks back to his side of the field and puts the mouse down. He wasn't expecting his starter to be out of commission this fast. He tells it not to worry. He and the rest of their friends will bring home the win. Now with Pikachu out of the picture, Ash turns his attention to the path ahead as we move up to the champions box with the other elites and Steven. The tension in the room is less than welcoming. Normally excitement would be happening, but since Steven's meeting and his conversation with Goodshow, everyone is on edge. Though it's not a total doom and gloom. Oddly enough, Drake, the one who is normally stoic and keeping to himself, is the one who is showing any enjoyment in the battle that is happening.
It's great to see this year's champion and last year's getting the chance to battle.
It's here Drake turns to Sydney in one of the oddest requests the Dragon Master has ever made.
Hey Sydney, I was wondering if you wanted to get a little side action going on this. I got 20. That says the boy will beat Phoebe with a come-from-behind win with 2 or more.
What, you mean like a bet? And here I thought you were just another stodgy old fart. What do you have in mind?
What do you have to lose? Your battle's already done, and I'm leaving after this tournament, so there's really nothing that could stop us.
Sydney takes a moment to contemplate this, but is quickly shut down by the clearing of Steven's throat. Looking back, the elite knows that it wouldn't be in the best interest to do something like this right now, so declines the offer from Drake. The Sea Dog just laughs a bit as he looks back at Steven. The champion has a look on his face that says he would love to make Drake disappear for good, which is secretly what Drake is going for, as the Dragon Master has come to realize that he has all of the power to get under the champion's skin. So he's going to use it with the time that he has left to dig that hole as deep as possible. With a smile, Drake turns his attention back to the battle, where we see our 2 current choices, Glalie and Mischievous, testing the waters with each other. Though this cautious approach on Ash's part costs the boy, as Glalie ends up in a mean look that locks it into this battle. Ash doesn't see a problem with this, figuring that they just need to win to cancel it out. So after hitting Mischievous with an ice beam, Ash tried to close the deal with the bite, but this landed Glalie in hot water when a thunder wave caught it, protecting the ghost. Seeing her opening upon Glalie's flinch, Phoebe decides that it's time to shift things up and recalls Mischievous. However, since Ash can't do the same, she is quick to send in her next choice in the form of a Shedinja. Ash doesn't like his chances at this battle. Phoebe is controlling everything from the flow to the pace. This forces the boy to face a harsh reality, but that doesn't mean he isn't going to go out without a fight. Phoebe smiles at this tenacity.
It's refreshing to see someone that hasn't already given up by this point.
Ash questions what she means by that.
Well, normally when trainers realize my battle style, they start to lose that fire they had. But you still haven't lost your determination to win. I hope that means you're not just going to give up and let me win halfway through.
That's not something you're gonna have to worry about. Me and my Pokemon came to battle, so we don't plan to do anything else. Now Glalie, use Bite! Thrusting forward, the Ice Head prepares to chomp down. However, this is going to be interrupted by Paralysis. That gives Phoebe a very important opening, allowing her to use a Confuse Ray. Now Glalie is in a worse position, which proves to be the downfall of the Ice Head, as it is unable to hit any moves while it is subjected to a barrage of Fury Cutters that slowly stack up until Glalie is down to its last moments. Phoebe gives the command for another Fury Cutter, only for Ash to go all or nothing and calling for an Ice Crash. In a moment of clarity, Glalie breaks through the confusion, only to land the attack. This gives Ash a moment of hope, as he feels like he could turn this around and win with the force that it was put in. However, that hope quickly fades as Shedinja seems to be unaffected by the attack as the Fury Cutter drops Ash's second Pokemon of the battle. Recalling his Ice type, Ash thanks it for the effort that it put in. However, there's another problem that the boy has to deal with. Why didn't Shedinja take any damage from that Ice Crash? Phoebe can see that Ash has begun to catch on, but she decides to leave him in the dark for the time being. She's interested if he will maintain that fire to keep pushing forward. Luckily for the elite, Ash will not disappoint, as he has chosen his next entrant in the form of Milotic. In the stands, this captures the attention of Misty. Though she has already seen it, the redhead is enamored by its beauty ever since first meeting it. Not to mention the fact that it's a water type, so the serpent checks all the boxes for the water specialist. As Misty swoons over Milotic, Max mentions that she's acting weird, but Brock simply says give her a minute. Misty will come back. However, Tyson is quick to mention that even though Milotic is powerful, I don't think that it has what it takes to take down Shedinja. This captures everyone's attention. Wait, why do you say that? Morrison questions. Tyson states that Shedinja's ability is going to secure its victory at the rate that it's going. It's no wonder that that Phoebe is considered one of the most powerful trainers to win the Victory Road tournament since Steven. Everyone looks back out, hoping that Tyson is wrong about his prediction. Though up above, there is one comment that is made by Glacia that seems to cast a shadow on this hope.
It seems she's finally set up her strategy. The boy is done for. So, I guess it's time that I started planning my departure from this decrepit league.
Dre can see Glacia seems to be distancing herself from the rest of them. However, he says nothing, as this is a decision only she can make. As Glacia prepares her separation from the League, we move back to the battle with Ash giving his first order. Milotic, Twister! Summoning the Dragonic energy, Milotic is able to strike down the husk quicker than it can act. The damage is so great that it looks like it's a sure knockout. However, it just creates an opening for Phoebe once more, as she is ready for her counter in the form of a toxic that coats the serpent in an ooze, causing an intense pain and poison to set in. Milotic, Ash yells, but then he begins to question what is going on. That move was clean, yet Shedinja is still able to battle. Phoebe can see the wheels are turning in Ash's head. She knows that he may soon be onto her ploy, so she decides to go on the attack with another Fury Cutter. Ash tries to counter with an Icy Wind, but again, its attack hits with no result, while Milotic is forced to take the hit and endure the beginnings of the toxic effects. It's here that Ash has a slight revelation, though he will need to test it, so he decides to recall Milotic, so the poison will be stalled.
Has he finally figured it out? Well, let's see how he reacts.
However, Ash is going to respond in the most surprising of ways. Grumpig, I choose you! The psychic type pops from the ball, leaving everyone, including Phoebe, wondering if Ash has finally cracked. As the battle starts, we shift to the champions box as Glacia has decided that the battle is over. Ash has made the biggest mistake that he could, and Phoebe will slowly dismantle any comeback that the boy can make from here on out. So the elite stands, heading for the door, without saying a word. Steven stops the ice specialist, stating that she wasn't dismissed.
I don't know what battle you're watching, but this one is clearly over. There is no need for us to continue to humor this farce, so I'll be taking my leave.
Glacia then walks out, leaving them left to wonder, though Steven isn't happy with the way she addressed them, let alone her boss, the champion. It's something that he makes a mental note of to deal with at a later date. It's here we pan back to the battle, as Ash is putting his plan into play. Shedinja lands another Fury Cutter, only for Ash to respond in a way that no one saw coming. Now, Grumpig, use a Light Scream. The Psychic Swine does so, forming a box around Shedinja that traps it in place, causing its Fury Cutter to fail as Phoebe tries to figure out what Ash is up to. However, she watches in real time as Grumpig's eyes glow as it uses one move that causes the elite to panic in the form of a Confuse Ray. Now that Shedinja can't run, it's prime for the move to hit, sending the husk into a dazed state. This triggers Phoebe to not attempt luck and immediately recall it, letting out a sigh of relief. I knew it, Ash said, all that damage that it took, yet it was never knocked out.
Guess I'm caught! That's Shedinja's ability, Wonder Guard. It won't be knocked down unless it takes damage from a super effective move or a status move. So, Confuse Ray could have cost me the battle, but it doesn't matter now. I'm the one in the lead and have full control. This battle is already mine. I just have to finish off the last of your team.
Not if I have anything to say about it. I still have Pokemon, and it's not over till it's over. Now, with the playing field leveled a little bit, Phoebe decides to send back in her mystery list to start the whole process over again. However, Ash isn't going to let this set the tone any longer, so he recalls Grumpig, then revealing his final Pokemon. Flygon, I choose you. As the dragon emerges, Phoebe realizes that Ash has learned. The question is, how much? The battle starts with the mean look, however, Flygon has a counter in the form of a dig. Tunneling down, the dragon vanishes. Phoebe tells Mischievous to be ready. That's when they will get them. However, Ash isn't going to give them the chance, calling for a full power Dragon's Breath. Suddenly, the battlefield begins to crack as a green aura comes bursting through. The ghost does what it can to dodge, but the attack is moving faster than it can. However, this wasn't the real plan, as Flygon emerges from beneath only to collide with a crunch on Mischievous as the Dragon's Breath had forced it right where Ash wanted. Phoebe can do nothing but watch as Flygon chomps down, ending the battle and making things even for the two trainers. This outcome is something that Phoebe didn't foresee. However, she seems very pleased, chuckling as she recalls her mom.
Well, Ash, I have to say I wasn't expecting that. If you didn't have that exact set of moves or Pokemon, then the battle would have been a foregone conclusion. But now, things are really getting exciting. Let's see if you have what it takes to win the whole thing. Dust Pops, right from the shadows!
The elite has chosen to send in her ace, much to the surprise of Ash. However, the boy figures that this is a blessing in disguise, as he knows that Flygon can take it. All the while, from outside of the stadium, Glacia stops as she is captured by the display of one of the many monitors that is showing the battle. She is a bit baffled by the choice of her compatriot, but then she sees the reason why.
So the boy managed to break Phoebe's luck. Interesting. It seemed he wouldn't have figured it out in time. Maybe he might be worth another look after all.
Glacia then sits down at a coffee shop and has herself a cup to warm her cold blood, as this is the first time that she has actually taken a genuine interest in a battle that Ash is part of. Back on the battlefield, it is in full swing with Flygon playing defense as a Shadow Punch forces it underground. However, Ash is quick on the draw, repeating the same maneuver that it had before to land a chomp on Dusclops. But that is the biggest mistake that Ash could have made, as Phoebe reveals that all of her Pokemon have the same variation in her main strategy when she calls for a pain split. As Flygon winces in pain, Dusclops heals the damage that it took.
You see, it's going to be hard to take down my Pokemon, Ash. They all have a way to mitigate damage or increase the amount that your Pokemon take. That pain split did exactly what the name says it does. It took health from Flygon and added it to my Dusclops. So, the closer you get to taking down my Pokemon, the closer you get to taking down yours.
Realizing that they need to finish this with one massive strike, Ash decides to go big, calling for a Dragon Volley. He orders Flygon to summon as many orbs as possible. They will need them to cover a massive area for this to work. Doing so, the sky above the battlefield fills with a Dragonic attack. As Flygon beats its wings faster than it ever has, Ash gives the order to dive. Darting down, Flygon makes its move to end this. However, Phoebe is no fool, and she has planned for this in the form of a rock slide that is sent skybound. The dragon does the best that it can to dodge, but it loses one orb after another as it closes in. This leaves it and Dusclops wide open as Flygon pulls up to shower the Dragonic attack across the battlefield. But the elite isn't going to let this hit as she orders an Ice Beam from her ghost. This peppers all the attacks of Flygon as it retreats. However, there is one thing that Ash had not accounted for, the Sonic Boom that Flygon created. Though it is not as powerful as the one in the battle with Morrison, it stalls the dragon mid-air as the Ice Beam catches up and strikes the dragon down, as well as carrying it and the mixture of dragon and ice energy into the ground below, where Dusclops is swallowed as well. This loud crack envelops the area. For a moment, the results are unclear, but as the smoke settles, it's seen that Flygon lay there with spirals in its eyes, while Dusclops is still standing, though a paralysis has set in due to the power of the dragon aura that had hit it. Both trainers are a bit in awe at this moment. Ash because he was a little reckless, and Phoebe because she wasn't expecting for that move to be as devastating as it was. Both trainers recall their respective Pokemon, though Phoebe seems to be in the lead once again. Ash knows that things are looking down, but there is only one of his Pokemon that will be able to get him back in it. As he grips the ball, Phoebe readies her next choice. They both know that the battle that is about to happen will determine the outcome of this match as the calls for Sableye and Milotic are given. Phoebe knows that this will be an uphill battle for herself. However, the fact that Milotic is poison will be of great benefit to her, so she just needs to run out the clock. In the spirit of this, she gives the first command in a double team, though Ash is quick to call for a Twister. While the Goblin is able to up its evasiveness, it is unable to dodge the dragon attack and takes some damage, but Milotic winces in pain once more. Feeling confident, Phoebe repeats this with Ash back to back, though each time the damage that Sableye takes is less and less, while Ash is forced to watch the damage on his Serpent slowly stack up. Man, what is the deal with this, Ash thinks. I know Phoebe is trying to run out the poison, but she has completely gone on the defensive. The only way Ash can see that he can win this is if he can force her into attack, so he decides it's time to go full force, calling for an Icy Twister. Phoebe is feeling pretty confident as she tells Sableye to stay just outside of its reach. This should exhaust Milotic enough for them to land the final blow. However, this is what Ash was looking for, as Milotic isn't reeling in the attack. The tornado of icy draconic energy is growing and increasing in fury, until Sableye has nowhere to run. The little goblin is sucked into the maelstrom, having no hard surface to dig its claws into. Realizing that this could end bad if she doesn't do something, Phoebe calls for a Nightshade to strike the serpent. Ash can see that this attack is the final exchange, so he pulls out one final move, telling Milotic to head into the wall of the storm that it had created. This throws everything off. From their perspective, Ash is basically throwing the battle. Milotic winces yet again at the poison, but Ash tells it to hang tough as the Nightshade strikes the wall protecting the serpent. Then, in a move that will either be declared extremely stupid or brilliant, Ash calls for Milotic to use a Magicoat. Suddenly, the target is the Icy Twister that it had created. This doubles the damage of the attack as the force of the move is sent ricocheting up the tornado in the direction of the helpless goblin. Then, in a sudden halt of the maelstrom, an explosion breaks it apart, and the two are swallowed. As the dust settles, it's revealed that Milotic is still hanging on, while Sableye is down. From the stands, Brock comments that the only reason that it worked in Ash's favor is because of Milotic's Marvel scale. The fact that it was poison is both a blessing and a curse, and increased defense, but at the cost of health every time it moves. However, Misty doesn't care. The more she watches it battle, the more she wants one for herself, as each of her eyes have now become glazed over in hearts of pure love. Max asks if the redhead is alright, but Brock just says let her be. There isn't much that they can do for her at the moment. Morrison comments that this battle has been tight from the beginning, while Tyson is in agreement. Ash keeps going for those big plays to win, but the problem is it's costing him a lot. The question is, how long can his Pokemon keep it up? Morrison tells Tyson not to worry. This is Ash we are talking about. He always pulls it out. However, Tyson isn't sure. This is the type of battle that could cost Ash if he's not careful. All the while, we pan out to Glacia outside of the stadium.
Very interesting. The boy has made it past Phoebe's third Pokemon. Though the high-risk, high-reward strategy seems to be catching up with him. I guess it's time for me to move on.
Glacia then takes one final sip of her coffee. She then stands up from the table with one last glance at the monitor.
You've got spirit, kid, I'll give you that. But this battle is over.
Glacia then walks away, heading in the direction of the pier, as the monitor behind her shows Milotic collapsing, just as Phoebe sends back in Ninjask. This is where we shift back to Ash recalling the serpent. He thanks Milotic for the damage it took in getting them that last win. However, now they have a real problem. Ash only has one Pokemon left. It is at a type disadvantage against the last two of Phoebe's, but he has no choice, calling on Grumpig to take to the field one final time.
Hey Ash, this has been fun! I'm glad I got the chance to face you, but it seems that the road to Evergrande City has come to an end for you and your Pokemon.
However, while most would fold under this situation, Ash remains oddly calm. I never thought that this would be easy. Me and my Pokemon never wanted it to be. If it was, then there would be no point in us battling our hardest. So there is no way me and Grumpig will back down. If there is a way we can win, then we will find it. The swine seconds this with a squeal of confidence as Phoebe aims to end this with her seemingly immortal ghost. However, the ghost specialist seems undeterred as she wants to prove that Ash is truly at the end of his rope.
Sedenja, use Fury Cutter!
Grumpig, use Confuse Ray. This forces Phoebe to pivot her strategy, telling the husk to use a dig. Smiling, Ash can see a way to win here, calling for a psionic barrage. The psychic stars begin to form all over the battlefield. This confuses Phoebe a bit, as there's no way that this could hit Shedinja. But Ash isn't done, as he tells Grumpig to thrust them into the ground. Suddenly, the elite's eyes go wide, as in doing this, the swine sets off a chain of explosions that ripple throughout the area. Psychic energy pulsates as the shattering battlefield cracks, forcing Shedinja to the surface.
Oh no! Sedenja, watch out!
But it's too late, as the psychic energy pushes a rock in the direction of the husk, forcing it into the wall of the stadium, splattering it in the process. The last thing Phoebe sees is the bug sliding to the ground with spirals in its eyes, unable to battle. This brings the match to a one-on-one. Recalling the husk, Phoebe can't believe that it actually lost in that fashion. That's the first time anyone has broken her whole team's strategy without using any super effective moves against Shedinja.
I gotta say, I'm impressed! Every time I threw you a curve, you just changed the curve to suit what you needed to win. It's like you grow when you're pushed to your limits. Sydney was right when he said you're a trainer that only comes around once in a generation.
This causes Ash to blush a bit. I don't know about that. Like I said before, me and my Pokemon only want to battle strong opponents. You pushed us. That's it.
I guess it is. Well, no matter. The final challenge begins here. Dusclops, break from the shadows!
At this moment, Phoebe's final Pokemon hits the field.
You know, I met Dusclops on Mount Pyre where my grandparents live. He's my oldest friend, and the first one of my Pokemon that you ever met. So, I guess it's only fitting that it'll be the final one you face in this battle.
While both trainers ready for their final confrontation, up in the champions box, everyone is on edge. Sydney can't peel his eyes away from the battle. This is where Goodshow talks with the elite. The boy is really something, isn't he?
Yeah, Phoebes tore through my old team the first time we battled. There was nothing we could do. The fact that Ash is on the verge of possibly beating her says a lot. I just hope that no matter what happens, they give us one hell of a show.
The old man laughs. Oh, I'm sure they will, Goodshow says, looking at Steven, who is brooding in the corner of the room over the fact that Glacia just up and left. It seems that she will be another problem that needs to be dealt with, the champion thinks, as he and Drake both watch the battle unfold below. However, the Dragon Master has a smile on his face, as there is only one question in his mind.
How far can you go, boy?
As all of this unfolded, we move back down to the battlefield below. It is here that Ash finds out that Grumpig is obviously positioned to counter most of what Dusclops can dish out. Its Shadow Punches is proven useless against Swift, while Ice Beam is taken care of by Psychic. The truth is, both of the trainers are in a bit of a stalemate. However, there is one thing that looms in the back of Ash's mind, in the form of Pain Split. If that connects, then this battle will surely be lost. However, from Phoebe's point of view, she sees it as a way to secure her victory, and is trying to figure out a way to open up the defense of Grumpig, as there is a light screen in effect. But the Ghost Specialist thinks she may have a way, in the form of ordering a rock slide. This forces a Psychic out of the swine, that leaves it open for Dusclops to use its ghostly powers to enact the Pain Split that finally zaps some strength from Grumpig. This causes it to flinch in pain, leaving it open for a Shadow Punch that finally hits, causing some serious damage. No, Ash yells, but the swine remains okay for the moment as it digs in. Knowing the need to do something, Ash calls for another Psychic to defend against the rock slide that Phoebe had ordered once more. However, stopping it isn't Ash's goal, as he tells Grumpig to use the rocks to its advantage. Suddenly, Dusclops finds itself on the receiving end of its own attack. Knowing she has no other choice, Phoebe orders an Ice Beam to stop the boulders from crushing her ace. But in a moment that brings her own strategy on its head, Dusclops flinches from the paralysis that had set in during the battle with Flygon. That's it! Now's our chance, Grumpig! Use Psionic Boulder! Suddenly, the rocks glow in a psychic energy as they are infused with the power of Grumpig.
No! Dusclops, get out of the way!
But it's too late. The one-eyed monster can do nothing but watch as its own attack heralds its defeat as the boulders and explosions of psychic energy ring across the stadium. The arena shakes in fear as the energy barriers do what they can to hold back the overwhelming force that Grumpig had put into it. Once the dust cloud settles, Grumpig stands, breathing very heavily, while the ref calls for an end to the battle as Dusclops flinches with paralysis and falls over, bringing the battle to an end. This causes the crowd to erupt. Ash's friends stand as they can't believe the boy was able to pull it off so many times. It seemed like Ash was out of it, but he and his team just clawed their way back to the top each time. As Grumpig gets a bit woozy and stumbles, Ash is there to catch it, telling the swine that he couldn't be prouder. Thanks to it, they are moving on to the next battle. Then Ash hears the sound of Dusclops being recalled.
Ash, that was amazing! You had me on the tip of my toes each move! I'm not even mad I lost! I was thinking you gave your best to Sydney, but I can see that you really wanted me to be your favorite battle!
Sure, Ash says, a bit confused, but he thanks Phoebe for the intensity of the battle. Ash says that he's never battled Elite Four members up until now. He can see why they are so strong. You and the others are really a team. This causes Phoebe to tone it down a bit at that statement as she looks up at the champions box.
Yeah, we're all one big happy family! Just wait till you see how happy.
As Phoebe is playing off her feelings about the situation with her and the rest of the elites, we move over to the pier of Evergrande. Here we see Glacia boarding a boat that is set to leave in a few minutes. However, this is when the elite hears the celebrations of the whole crew. Can you believe it? That kid, Ash, actually beat Phoebe. This means that there's going to be another battle. This causes the ice specialist to stop, just as she was about to step on the deck of the ship. Miss, are you coming aboard? Turning, Glacia answers the man with a very reserved tone.
I'm afraid not. It seems my business isn't finished here just yet. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some preparations to commence.
The elite then turns and walks back down the boarding platform with a vigor that we have not seen from her before this moment.